Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me on Thursday, January 20th in the Locher Room. I'm Alan Locher. The new web series, The Disappointments, is a hit comedy series about a group of close friends in their 50s who realize that the life they are living today falls short of what they had imagined for themselves when they were 25. Careers, living situations, family dynamics, romantic relationships. It's all a bust and the clock is ticking. This is a show about recognizable people taking desperate and funny actions in an attempt to turn their disappointing lives around before they run out of time, literally. Joining me today to look back at the 10-episode first season that premiered back in November to rave reviews are the writer, director, and star Rich Burns, along with his co-stars James Campbell, Trevor LaPaglia, and Gedde Watanabe. The men are here to share behind-the-scenes stories of what it was like getting together to make The Disappointments. Perhaps you're one of the viewers who expressed a vocal interest in seeing a season 2. You want to know what happened between Ray and Dwight that resulted in the finale's twist, and how Gary's prognosis will turn out, and please God, will James ever get his act together? Stay tuned today to learn how you can help to be an integral part of helping to bring season 2 to life. Please welcome to the Locher Room, Rich Burns, James Campbell, Trevor LaPaglia, and Gedde Watanabe. Gentlemen.
Hey, Alan.
Yay!
How you doing?
Hey, I'm well. Thank you all for being here. And it's a pleasure to meet James and Gedde, who I did not get to meet the first time around.
And it's a pleasure to meet you too.
Yes.
And to see you guys.
I loved the series and really excited that you're here to drum up excitement and donations to get season 2 made. This is a question for all, but we'll start with Rich. You know, basically, can you talk about the reaction, you've received since the premiere to season 1?
It's been incredibly gratifying and surprising in many ways. We've had a ton of great feedback from viewers sending us comments on the YouTube page, on the different videos. Whether they relate to it, they find it funny, they're moved by it. We've had people who have said that they're going through a dark period and that this has been a great help to them watching the show, just to feel like that there are characters out there that they can relate to, like, gay men in their 50s, late 50s, just showing a different
60s
lives. Well, I mean, that's of course the joke is that I turned 60 in a month, and Gedde and James are in their 60s. But when I wrote it, we were all, I think, in our 50s. So
we were.
You guys look young enough to play 50s, so it works.
Okay.
There you go. What reaction sort of have surprised all of you, James, Gedde, Trevor?
James, you're new to our interviewing here. James, this is his first time being part of the party, so you take that.
I'm actually really pleasantly surprised, but not really surprised, because the intention was that I just think individually and collectively, we thought that we actually had something that was relevant to people, and that people, no matter if they're gay or they're straight or they're young or they're old, like, who doesn't look in the mirror in the morning and go, seriously, this is what my life looks like right now. So, these are the decisions that I've made and the choices that I've made and the mistakes that I've made. So there's a lot of people that are relating to that and that are just saying how much they appreciate seeing themselves, and for a wide variety of backgrounds. So I'm super excited about how well it's being received.
Well, except for Trevor here, the four of us, Gedde, James, Rich, are all in the same age bracket and really grew up with no representation. So it really is, kudos to all of you. We deserve to have that representation. We deserve to have it when we were growing up, let alone, but we definitely deserve to have it when we're at the ages we are today.
I mean, even for me as a child, though, I didn't really know anybody gay on television who was like me. A lot of Hollywood kind of cast a lot of stereotypical gay men, and I couldn't relate to them, nor was I attracted to them. So I felt very alone,
You weren't attracted to Paul Lynde?
He probably doesn't know who Paul Lynde is.
He doesn't.
He's like, who the hell
And scene.
yeah, you know, but and you know, truly, when we were growing up, the gay characters were over the top, murdered. You know, they didn't have stories. You know, nobody cared to tell our stories.
Yeah, when I was younger, Matthew Shepard was on the news, and that was something
Wow.
that really kind of kept me in the closet too. You know.
Speaking of him, his mother's sitting down with me next Wednesday here.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, because I agree that, you know, that was, you know, crazy impactful on me. I would love each of you, you know, for anyone watching today who has yet to see The Disappointments, each of you describe your character in your own words. Gedde, we'll let you go first.
You can start first.
It's
go-
gonna
you
be
have to
very
help me.
interesting to hear what these guys say about their characters.
Well, I think that he is, honestly, I think he just represents, honestly, the Medicare period of my life, which I'm on. So it was appropriate. I mean, I had health issues, and I think that is very apropos about people in general. And but also I think that, you know, he's struggling with a basically a lost career, or he's trying to get it back in some way, and all those issues about being older, about being senior, about being an older gay man. And also I feel like he's I think that he's lost, you know, in some way, as we all are.
Yeah,
But
a lot of people, correct.
yeah. And he's just trying to regain some sanity, you know, back into his life. And I think that he depends on his comrades who are around him to push forward. They sort of like are the hands on his back, pushing him. And that's what I like about the series for my character is that it's family, you know, that really keeps us together.
And our chosen family.
In our chosen family. Yeah. Right. And also, you know, being Asian too, you know, it's, we don't really talk about it, which in a way is kind of cool. I am what I am, basically. Right. But,
sing it out loud.
I think those topics, you know, later down the road, they'll come up and to talk about all of that.
Season 4, season 5.
Yeah. And well, we talked about diversity too, right?
Wow.
Within the piece. So, but I think that he's the one that is probably the most grounded in the sense of just reality around him and how he's facing reality.
Yeah. So,
anyway, do you have any more ideas?
I would just it was always my intention that Gary would sort of be like he said, grounded. He's the heart of the show in many ways. You know, he's the one who I think is the most in touch with himself, the most truthful, and the one who's just the most in touch with his emotions. And he's kind. He's a kind character. Very unlike. I wrote that.
And
wow.
And James, for you.
First of all, I think it's I like that we're explaining like who we think the character is, and then for Rich to come back and go, well, I actually wrote it this way. So we may be on, we may not be. But something that I just want to say something about Gedde being Asian and all of the characters being gay and the actors being gay, that it's not about that, you know, at least for right now, that it's not about Gedde being Asian or us being gay. It's what it is, and that we're just dealing with life, you know. It's and that's how I think it's more relatable to more people, that we're in situations where it's not just about, you know, who's my next hookup or whatever. I mean, there's a place for those kinds of things, but it's just life. And that being said, You don't think James is grounded? He's grounded in his own frustration. I actually, clearly there are some similarities to who we are and our characters, and I commend Rich for taking those sort of aspects of us and sort of like seeing, okay, how big can it go? Literally, like some lines that I had to say, Rich would say, you got to make it shriekier. You got to, like how much bigger can you be in that? But I really like being able to play James because he's just so there. He's uncensored in a way. He's highly reactive. He's just trying to get what he wants. And it's just like, and there's sometimes no thought process really. It's just like, there's something shiny. I want it. Damn it, I didn't get it. Or somebody got it in before me. But I like that there's humanity. There's humanity in all the characters, but James is just that sort of, oh my God, God love him. And and his friends accept him for his, foibles. But I love the fact that Rich does take an opportunity to show James's depth, that there is, I won't say it if people haven't seen the series yet, but there are opportunities where you see that, because otherwise, if James was just that same character all the time, you'd wonder, like, how are these guys hanging out with him, and how would anybody else even want to hang out with him? So
one of our viewers just said James is my favorite crazy friend.
I think. Thank you.
and Patricia said the disappointments is the best surprise. I'm so happy about this series and I love it so much.
That's great.
Well, I love that comment. Thank you.
Trevor, it's your turn. Talk about.
Wait, can I just butt in for a second?
Yeah.
So, Rich, was I close to what you were thinking?
Well, yeah, of course.
Do you want to?
You I mean, because James and I, like conceiving the show, James was a part of the process right from the start. So, I think you had a really good grasp on who James was and what I was trying to do with the character, and there is an element of James Campbell in James Caldwell, but I took that element and I threw nuclear fuel on top of it. So. And
I thought his name was. I thought his name was James Cantwell.
No, it's Caldwell.
Okay, well we won't get into that.
All right, and our friend Charlie says hello from England. Love you guys.
Love Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie. Trevor, your turn. Dwight.
The question was, what was I surprised?
No. For people who haven't seen the show, describe the character of Dwight.
Describe Dwight.
That's pretty much it.
Well, my character is not as OCD as Trevor is. Like aware of this sun blocking me right now.
Do you need to get that? Trevor
he wants to close the blinds. He can do that. So, Rich, you take it away.
I'm here.
The blinds is
okay.
Keep talking.
It's okay. Talking, no, I think it's still this one. It's still this one.
We're good. We're good.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
What's the question? Can you say the question again?
Describe Dwight. Your interpretation of your character, Dwight.
Dwight. He's an oddball. He in a similar way of James's character, he's impulsive. He kind of acts on his impulses, and they're cute. He comes from a good place. He loves Rich so much. Ray.
Slip of the tongue there.
I gotta make a list of these. Hang on.
He was a lot of fun.
Keep track. And Rich. Yeah, Rich, it's your turn. Describe Ray, and did he do a good job describing Dwight?
Yeah, he did. I think Dwight has a big heart, and he's a little bit. I think the key with Dwight is that he does also speak what's in his mind, and he doesn't have a full grasp of what is socially acceptable and what is not. Like he doesn't have a filter. He doesn't get why certain things are not.
Yeah.
Like the bathroom scenes. He doesn't get why certain decorum is acceptable and some things are not,
Yeah.
And the thing about Dwight is he's actually right. That's the thing. The thing that I love writing about his character is, even though we don't necessarily accept his behavior is not wrong. It's just we've, as a society, have come up with these rules. Like, I mean, you know, why can't you pee in the sink?
Yeah.
You know? Anyway.
Okay.
Is that open for discussion?
No, that we're moving on. What has surprised you, for all of you? What has surprised you most since the series release?
The reaction for me, I'm just kind of stunned because I don't, you know, anticipate anything, you know, so I just kind of just go along and then do the work, right? So I was really stunned. And the problem is I'm not on social media, so it's kind of like they're my connection to all of them, whatever they are.
We need to change that.
I know I should probably get on it, but so I when I hear, you know, and I've had a couple of people come up to me in West Hollywood and say that how they like the show, and I actually literally am stunned. I go like, oh wow, I'm so glad. So I think mine has been just people watching. I'm happy with that. That's pretty amazing.
Anybody else?
I'm very pleasantly surprised that, you know, we have seen a lot of comments, and especially like I mentioned earlier, that people are saying they're seeing themselves in this and they so relate to it. But something for me personally, I'm on social media. I could be way better. It's like, all right, you know, okay, let's dig in and be a little more present. But I can't tell you how many friends kind of from the past that I grew up in San Francisco, then lived in LA for 30 years. So I've got kind of like these pockets of people, and now in Palm Springs, people that I just know through work sort of affiliations. But people are coming out of the woodwork from the past, reaching out saying, I had no idea that you were doing this. I love it. They said some nice things about me, about the other characters, the show in general, but it's actually bringing people out to comment and to participate. And what I love about this is like I wouldn't have known that they were watching it. You know, I've got other friends that I know are watching it and have commented, but for somebody to take the time, who they would never know. So they've taken the time to express their support and to express their appreciation and to literally support, you know, financially. That's what's so cool. So, you know, no prodding, no nothing. It's just out and out appreciation and support. That's what's amazing.
That's awesome.
For me, what's been kind of surprising, and also something that I was hoping for, is the level, and it's a level that I'm hoping will grow, the reaction from people who are not in the gay community. Because again, this was something that when I conceived it, the three main characters are gay, but the theme is universal. You know, getting older, what it's like to be in your 50s and your 60s, and the disappointments you've had in your life, and how do you turn your finances around, and how do you fix your relationships, and all of these things that we go through. And to do it in a comedic way, so it's not a soap opera, like we poke fun at it, we're kind of irreverent about it. So when people like Patricia, who commented, you know, I love hearing from women who've enjoyed the show, straight men. I was at a bar the other night, and a straight guy was talking about how much he liked it. So it's that's super gratifying, and I would love to get the show out to be seen more. But I love our community, the gay community, you know, LGBTQIA, accepting the show and loving it, embracing it. But it's for everybody.
It is the universal things. We're all looking for love. We're all looking for work. We all have medical crises. You know, it's all things that we all can relate to.
Right.
I was surprised.
Yeah,
I sent the link to my parents before it came out, and my parents' reaction was really positive. And then even like weeks later, my dad just brings up randomly, you know, that show is so good. And I was like, it was so nice to hear. He's like, I could relate to the characters.
And where your parents live?
And they live in small town in upstate New York.
It's
very rare.
That's amazing.
It was really
And-
nice to hear. I was like, wow, like, you know, they're like, you know, it's not a gay show. Like, I could relate to all the characters. I'm like, that's amazing, you know. And the fact that people are reaching out and commenting, like, people don't normally do that. You watch a movie and you talk about it with your friends, but to extend as far as like commenting and letting the people know how good it is and how they want to see more, that's really validating.
I think people recognize that it's been making this show has been a community effort. And when I say community, really the reach of it is around the world, because season one was by on Indiegogo. We did season one fundraising and literally got contributions from every corner of the globe, and we didn't even have a show to show at that point. And then now season two, we've got the fundraiser going again on Indiegogo, and we've got like 18 days to go. We're already at 43% funded, which is fantastic. And those again, the people contributing and the people watching the show in general is, again, it's a global kind of phenomenon. And it's
this link will take people to the Indiegogo page, and we'll talk more about that. But yeah, they can go to that link and check it out. James, you had you were part of this concept from its inception. Did you ever think the show would actually become a reality?
No. No. Well, I'm being honest though.
That's why James. That's why James is in another place.
All right, well, you guys take care. No, I wanted it to, but I didn't know for sure, because there was the whole. We were talking about it. We were talking about casting it. Rich was, writing the script, doing rewrites, having to, all of a sudden then think logistics and money and how are we going to shoot that scene, and how can we change that scene? So like, I think Rich mentioned it in one of the other interviews that there was a scene in the restaurant. There were supposed to be people all at tables, but to get a restaurant and to get extras and all that kind of stuff and just the logistics, there were so many things like that, happily Rich was able to scale things down, scale things back. We called in all kinds of favors, to get funding, editors, cast, crew. I mean, it was really amazing. So I'm shocked that we actually did it. And I've also heard Rich say before too, that when we told them what the budget, we told people what our budget was, and they would go, you can maybe make one episode, you can do a pilot. Wow. And we ended up doing 11 episodes. So it's like, did I think it was going to happen? I just wasn't sure, but I knew that with Rich's, just his determination and commitment to it, that this bitch was going to be made. Am I allowed to say that? Oops, sorry.
You certainly can.
and I did.
And you did.
I just want to add to you, because James is not going to toot his own horn. James was hugely helpful in during the process of the first fundraiser. He was my partner in that. So the fact that we were able to shoot the first season and raise the funds to shoot the first season is in a large part because of James just being my right hand and just there for anything, from doing stupid videos that we did on social media, which we've been kind of repurposing those old videos. We've been putting those up as well, to just helping me package and ship out the perks from the campaign. Like, that man knows how to fold T-shirts and put them in like he's got the mug right there. So yeah, James was amazing.
Well, thank you very much, Rich. And I will acknowledge that due to some, just now kind of being in a different location, not being in LA, and also with some family issues of, I've been a way slacker in helping promote the second season. So I'm so glad that you've got Trevor there and Gedde to jump in. And I know Trevor's especially been doing like all kinds of so if I was your right hand, he's your left hand. So you're fairly ambidextrous.
That's awesome. And I apologize. I realized I said 10 episodes in the intro, 11 episodes the first season.
That's quite all right.
For people looking, Trevor made this point last time too. If you're on YouTube, if you're watching this show, if you're not logged in, you're only going to see 9 episodes, because episode 5 and episode 10 are age restricted because of content. Because,
Oh, wow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't realize that either. Wow.
yes, a lot of people haven't seen those 2 episodes. So if you've watched the show and you haven't seen those episodes, go back and watch them because they're 2 of the best.
I encourage you to log in.
Don't have a YouTube membership, just do it. It's free. Log in.
Yeah, they're the best.
Oh, yeah. It's simple.
They censor them for a reason, and it's worth it.
It's worth
Wait,
seeing.
5 and 10?
Uh-huh. Don't shh.
I'm
Don't give
those are
anything
nickel
away.
and diming us, is what you're saying. See, moving on.
Brandon just said, I liked the burning pizza video.
Oh, thank you,
Oh,
Brandon.
that was fun to do.
Gedde, how did it feel? How did you feel about working with Rich after so much time had passed? And did you have any trepidations about him directing and acting?
No, I didn't have time to think about that.
That's true.
Because I actually replaced somebody. That right? You want to tell? But you'll tell that story later. But I just was on fear base. Came on, I said, I gotta remember these lines. I gotta figure out who this character is. I gotta step right into this. And so I was kind of thrown into it, but pleasantly so, because I know Rich, and also the pressure was quite less for me because everybody else was doing some. I mean, James, Trevor, you all were running around getting props and doing all these. I mean, it was unbelievable to watch. And he had 3 tasks together. He was wrote and direct and acted. I mean, and produced. So 4 tasks. I just said the lines and
He sat in his trailer
and got.
He was being fanned.
Yeah. So but what I loved was that when I read it, I just really loved the dialogue. I loved the script. It was really palatable to me. It resonated what I was going through in present time. So it wasn't too far of a stretch. I mean, you look at things and you say, oh, well, if you watch it, I wish I could do something different. It's all those actory things that come up. But for me,
But I think Alan's talking about because you and I had not been in touch for.
I'm sorry. Oh God. Okay.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other thing. When you get older, you can't stay on one side. You keep going into direction. No, we picked up where we left off. It was right. We didn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't any. It was just kind of like, oh, hello, let's do this, and it was just. I really wholeheartedly wanted to jump on board on this. There was no holding back or anything like that for me.
And from my vantage point, there was something because Gedde and I had this great friendship, and then we had like a falling out or whatever. But for 23 years, we didn't talk. And then this project happened, and things just happened in a certain way where like there were different actors involved, and then boom, we needed somebody, and Gedde popped into my head, and I thought I'm just going to connect with him, and it ended up being like a really amazing healing experience, but instantaneous. It wasn't like we had to process stuff. It's like, oh, I love you.
Yeah.
We're good.
I think that's kind of the impact of a chosen family. We might have those fallings out, but with age comes the wisdom and
age.
Little things. Just let it go. Just let it go.
I don't know if you have something planned for this, Alan, but you asked me about the photograph in the beginning.
I did. Yeah. So yes, here we go.
Okay. So yeah,
here we'll do this.
So these pictures, the one in the middle is of me and Gedde. That's real. That was like 1989
Oh my God. Yeah.
or 1990. We were at my then boyfriend's surprise birthday party that I threw for him. So that's me in a cowboy hat for real. That's Gedde laughing. And James, there's a guy named Dan, blanking on his last name. We just slapped James's face from that same period on Dan.
That's great.
Our guy who did Photoshop did really good.
He did a great job.
But all of those pictures that you see, that me like the one up that says "True Friends." That's Gedde joking me at that
Oh
bar.
gosh.
Oh, wow.
That was actually his.
And
birthday.
me superimposed again.
Which,
I've never seen because this goes so fast in the credits, like that one with where Gedde has the red hat and my head is just floating on your shoulder. What the hell is that?
you're actually wearing a shirt there, James, but the color of the shirt just makes it look like it's because we're standing on a cliff over the ocean and it looks like the ocean. So it does look like a bloody head.
I love that.
So anyway.
Trevor, you recently shared a really sweet post thanking Rich, for this experience. Can you just articulate what this experience has meant to you and meeting Rich at the bar? Sort of that serendipitous moment.
Yeah, I moved to LA. I dropped out of school and I moved to LA 12 years ago, pursuing my career as an actor. And I just haven't had that break and that opportunity to really share what I can do. A lot of people are like, wow, I didn't know you could act. I'm like, I'm an actor. I mean, like, obviously they can only base it on the work that they see, but I haven't really been given those opportunities. And it's just been really nice because believing in yourself for so long it's really hard to do sometimes. A lot of actors give up. Mm-hmm. And Rich gave me the opportunity to really show what I can do. And I'm really grateful for it because this has given me energy and new light and kind of momentum into moving forward. And without that, I don't know where I'd be right now. It's brought a lot of happiness in my life, a lot of love, a lot of friends. And I'm so grateful for it. So.
Things come around at the right time. I've been doing this show almost 2 years, and so many actors, Trevor, have said it, right before getting that show, they were ready to give it all up, and I'd
actually dropped my representation. I was kind of dealing with a lot of anxiety. I was like, I'm being a bartender in West Hollywood and doing a few projects here and there. I've become popular in the LGBT community, but I was like, it's not fun being poor and famous with not many opportunities. It just kind of is depressing. And I was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do, so I kind of decided to take like a mental pause. And then this show came out because we had finished the show and it was in post-production for a while because of COVID. And I wasn't sure where this was going to go. I was like, just like all of us, we weren't really sure. And then it came out and I was like, wow, I'm so proud of this. And I said, I need to get back into it, and I've also worked on my mental health and I've cut the fat in my life and nurtured my friendships. And I'm in a better place. And a lot of it has to do with Rich. So thank you.
Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Gedde and James, Trevor and Rich, when they did this show with me the first time, we were talking again because we're all of the same age and coming out was a, difficult process for some of us. Would you mind sharing your coming out with the audience?
Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Let's go alphabetically.
Gedde first.
G.
Oh, God.
G.
Well, I think I was.
Oh, G.
I did. Is that right? Am I first?
Yes, you're first.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Well, there you go. It wasn't really until I was in a relationship I've been with my partner, John, for almost 36 years now. So
Congratulations.
I have to ask other people questions. I can't remember where, but in the 80s, I did a lot of really goofy movies and I really enjoyed doing them. And, they were without controversy and all kinds of things. So but I think during that time in New York, when I was studying, I was pretty much out, but I think screen wise, when I came to Hollywood, I kind of kept it inside. And then when I met my partner, it was like, duh, what are you going to do? Just, push him aside. So it became quite natural and no big deal. And I think I probably give that support to both our families. Our families were very, very, really supportive and loving towards it. So I have a really good support system when it comes to that. And so it was no big deal. Is that what you're saying? Or
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
it wasn't like a big aha, and but the only thing I could say is like in the 70s when I ran away as far as I could from my little hometown Ogden, Utah, I knew then and there, right there, that I wanted to be free. So of course, what city do I run into but San Francisco? So I was there, and it just kind of leaded up to there. So that's
having support means everything. Having the support is everything.
Yeah, and I've had that. I've always had that, and so my conflicts are more gratitude, if that makes sense right now, because I've not had the same. I mean, God knows living in New York in the 70s and all those other things, we all went through the AIDS crisis or all those things that everything happened to us, but I have those wonderful angels around me, so I'm in gratitude about it all.
That's awesome. And James, for you?
Wow, Gedde, that was super beautiful and sweet, truly. And I think a lot of us need to. No, I mean it. I'm being serious.
Oh no, I know.
No, I'm looking at
James. That must be something about. That must be something about you. It must be something about you, James, that they gotta, you gotta clarify that.
Yeah.
Well, I was just looking at Rich's stupid face. I will say that I'm kind of right there with Gedde as well. So, like Gedde said, he flocked to San Francisco. Well, I grew up in San Francisco. My parents grew up in the city. Their parents grew up in the city. So I was in the city all the time. So, and it wasn't like a big aha moment for me either. I mean, I always knew, and I don't know that I can say that I really pretended to be somebody else. I think I was guilty by omission, maybe just not being completely forthright with all of who I was. But it was interesting, the actual like claiming it, especially like with family. It wasn't until I was more like in my early 30s kind of, where I finally said, okay, we all know this is going on, right? I don't know if this is too specific, but when I told my mom, she and I were at her uncle's house who had just passed away, and I was living there to kind of like go through things and kind of just help get the place ready to, to be liquidated and so forth. And we're sitting at opposite ends of this beautiful dining room table in a very nice dining room, and she was going through like photographs, and I was going through a box, and I was just squirming to get out of my skin. And I just just finally said, "Mom, do you know that I'm gay?" And as she's turning the page, she goes, "Well, I just thought you were bisexual." Again, this may be TMI, but that was the extent of it. And I was a mess and was like bawling my eyes out. And I just, I said, "When you go home, are you going to cry? Or are you going to be sad?" And she just looked at me and she goes, "Do you want me to?" And it was just, and she got up, walked around to the other end of the table, and she just said, "I love you. I just want you to be happy." And so, of course, I lost it. So, I mean, and but I grew up in an Irish Catholic family, and when I told my dad that, even a year or two later, there was a little bit of a what, but at the end of our conversation, he was just saying, "I don't get it, but you're my son and I love you." And so it was sort of like, that's kind of amazing, because I do hear of other experiences from people where they just share their honesty and their truth, and they're either banned or they feel they have to go away or who knows what. But the sort of the hard part for me was that I was from San Francisco. Where else am I going to go? Iowa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
but it is interesting that you still were in your 30s. You said when you had that conversation. Yeah. I know, like having those conversations, they are so difficult but then you get, do you want me to be upset? Like, that's the amazing part. But for each of us, it's like we find the difficulty in
it's the inner struggle.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's our fear, and I know that it seems so much more present, and people seem to have, it seems less sort of charged for so many people, but for so many people it still is. So it's still there for everybody coming out, and it's our own fear, of what we anticipate from somebody else. And I think people will find that they may be pleasantly surprised by the love and support that is available to them and us.
So true. One of our viewers just repeated that statement, that where do you go when you live in San Francisco? That's a good one, James.
Thank you.
Rich, we have 18 days left of how viewers can help get season 2 made, what you're doing. I know Trevor and you just had a fundraiser at a local West Hollywood bar.
We did. So we had that, and we had a lot of friends and newcomers come out and support us on that, which was great.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing, but really the main way to contribute is to go, you've got the link right there for our Indiegogo campaign. Basically, we want to do, people have asked in the comments over and over again on YouTube, like they would like to see longer episodes. They'd like the show to be more of a show. And that's our goal this year, is to do 10 episodes, each episode 22 minutes long. And I want to, I had to pull back a lot on the story and on the scenes, like James was referring to one of them in particular earlier, because of the constraints that we had in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're still working, we're like cutting that budget down to the bone, as far as how we're able to save money and come up with ingenious ways to do things on the cheap. But it costs money to do these things, between renting equipment, getting locations, getting permits. It's endless. You have to pay the crew, and we pay everybody at insurance, and we pay everybody at like a lower rate. Good news is people want to work on the project because they really love it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
what was our rate? I forget what our rate was.
Truth. This is truth. Actors. It is a SAG project, but it's under the new media contract, and it allows for actors to do the show within SAG, but to defer their payment until the show gets monetized somehow. So
that's zero.
That's basically
out there, James.
Very good.
Zero payment, but all the fame. What was your famous but poor? You're famous but poor.
Famous but poor. Well, exactly. What can you tell us? What do you have in store for season 2? What can you share without giving too much away?
Oh.
Well, let's see. Everybody is moving into, the concept of the show is about these 3 main characters trying to find ways to get their lives back on track. And so in season 2, everybody has a little career trajectory that they find themselves on. And it's a question of, is it going to work out? Are they going to make the best of it? Are they going to make it work? Or are they going to kind of shoot themselves in the foot because of who they are? Be a disappointment. So James has, I won't go into the specific details, but they're pretty funny. He's got a huge one. His character, a lot of stuff is going to be revolving around Gary in season 2. And then we have, of course, Ray and Dwight to look into their relationship, what happened, and where do they go from there? Will they get back together? Will they not get back together?
Well, speaking of that, I tried to get Mr. Corbett to surprise you gentlemen today, but he was booked on a gig, so he sends his love.
Oh, that would have been fun.
Michael Corbett, yes.
Of many, much soap opera fame. Among many things now.
Among many things, yes.
He's sort of the behind the scenes season 2 Machiavellian figure who he has his hands. Dude, this is going to be this is inappropriate if I say it. I was going to say he has his hand in every character's fate. He does something that affects every character.
Who does the Michael Corbett's character? Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
So it's going to be more fun. It's going to be a lot of laughs. There'll still be some darker moments. There'll still be some pathos and drama, and
that sounds villainous for Corbett, because Michael plays a great villain.
Well, but it's not quite that. He's not
okay.
Spirited. He's not out to get anybody, but by virtue of being part of coming into the world, he stirs up trouble just by being who he is.
He's not the protagonist by any means.
No, but he's not an antagonist either. He's just sort of the problem.
Have you gentlemen sitting beside Rich and James shared your thoughts on where you'd like to see your characters go, or are you leaving it to him?
I've already told him I have to approve every script.
Script approvals in your contract?
Exactly. I should have gotten a contract.
I'm just worried about how many lines I'm going to have to remember.
Line.
You know what? I adore Rich. I trust his writing, and just period. I've known you for writing so many things anyway, so I don't. I mean, unless there's something that's totally out of proportion, but I doubt that will happen. But that's my take.
I've shared with Gedde some.
He
of
has
the
shared.
things,
Yes,
he's excited.
I am excited. Yes, that's well put. Yes, he has shared the trailers on my end.
I love being part of the process. So I'll be on the phone and I'm like, Rich, I have this idea for Gedde's character, or this idea for James's character. Less about mine, and more just like, what do you think of this? I'm like, I'm not saying go with it, just like I'm planting a seed. It's good to have options. Like, I have ideas for season 3 and 4 already.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
I do love that Rich is willing to collaborate and to, field suggestions and ideas. And he and I have already come up with some things as well that just from random phone calls, stuff has come up, that he's talked about, like for the show in general, but specifically like about the James character, and just some things that could and probably will happen. And I look forward to doing it.
Yeah, there's some actual fun physical comedy for James's character.
Rich, you may kill me for saying this. You should auction off a under 5 role for somebody to.
I can't actually say that I would kill you for that, because we have on our getting back to our campaign, our Indiegogo campaign, one of the perks is you can contribute at a certain level and you can get a role.
Oh, that's awesome. Good. I didn't see that. So that's great.
3 so far, people. I think the perk is called What's My Line, I think, or something like that. But that's just to finish.
That's my line.
We were talking about the campaign. So it is, you go to the Indiegogo page, you follow the link, and you can just, if you want to contribute to support the show, which would be fantastic, you can contribute just straight on, a dollar figure, whatever you're comfortable with, $5, $10 more. We welcome that. We welcome all of it. But there are also perks. If you come in at a certain level, you can get things like a t-shirt, you can get a baseball cap, disappointments cap, but some of the other perks, we don't have mugs currently, but we're going to probably have a new merchandise page, and we might make mugs for that. But we have like associate producer credits. We have, you can come to the set. You can be a co-producer. There's all these different levels.
You can rub my shoulders.
You can be on. Give him his
in between takes.
Exactly. But
between takes.
I do want to say that the Indiegogo campaign, this is the only way a season 2 is going to get made. We don't have a studio backing us. We don't have a network backing us. This is literally a group of people coming together to make a show, and we have
for the audience.
For the audience.
Yeah.
And the audience is a part of the process. So it's we make it, you help us make it, we bring the show to you, and then we talk about, we have these great conversations with people. So it's a community. It's we're interconnected, I feel like. So I'm just hoping that people will, especially now as we're coming down 18 days, coming down to the end of the campaign, that we continue to build momentum, which we've done very great in the last week. And, just hope people will consider, first of all, if you haven't seen the show, Watch
the show for sure. Well,
Please.
this is exciting because I'm reading, and it's Carol, but it's spelled differently, so it might be Carl Brokeman. Watching from New Zealand. Fabulous show. I so relate. Great cast. Excited for more. So that's pretty awesome. You're reaching across the world.
Yeah, we've definitely had, even in season one of the cool things about the community of all of this is through social media. While we were promoting our initial fundraiser, I connected to a bunch of musicians, people I'd never met. One guy from.
Well, speaking of that, I was going to bring that up because I want to talk about Gedde. Near the end of season 1, you got to sing a song written specifically for the show by one of my absolute favorite artists, Bright Light, Rod Thomas. Were you aware of who Bright Light was?
I have to admit I'm not aware of a lot. I'm kind of the caboose that's being pulled, basically. Okay.
You're doing what you're told, which is a good actor to a director.
I do catch up. It's all intuitive for me. So no, I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
So if you listen to the music in our episodes, not the score, which is amazing score by David Frank Long,
yes,
but to the pop songs,
yes,
most of the pop songs are by Bright Light.
Okay.
Bright Light is Rod Thomas.
Okay.
Yes. And for anybody watching, I highly suggest you go listen to Bright Light.
And I love the music. So
I second that motion.
I'm thrilled by it. So
I love him. I knew him way before this show, and told Rich the minute I was like blown away. It just opens with his music, so fabulous.
So he wrote that song, and what we're hoping to do too is maybe within the next month or so to add extra content to the channel on YouTube is to give to edit an entire performance, because we filmed Gedde doing the entire song in the show while we're filming that day, but we couldn't. It's 3 minutes and 35 seconds, so it would be too long to show the whole song. But I want the whole song out there because the lyrics are so funny and so awful. It's like the worst Broadway song, the most cliche Broadway song ever. It is ridiculous, and his performance is fantastic. So hopefully that's going to be a little extra that we get on the channel soon.
I love that. Another fan said Dwight and Ray better in capital letters, at least remain in each other's lives.
Oh, that's sweet. Well, that depends if their shirts are on or off.
Oh, James. Yeah, I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We don't. We want people to tune in for sure. Hey, Trevor, last week you also posted a picture, I think. Did you just do a project for Netflix?
I did.
Are you able to tell us anything?
I don't
Probably
know.
not too specific.
Probably not too specific. I can name the name of the show, right?
I don't know. You can name the name. Let's give the type of show it is, maybe.
They would have told you if you can't. But
don't
get in trouble. I don't want to be the reason you get in trouble.
The first episode of the series. I'm just like a day player. It was a small role. There's this casting director that's been calling me, and it's been really great. I just happen to not have representation right now, which is where I am in this specific chapter of my career, and it's working in my benefit because he's calling me directly, and we're working on a relationship. And I was just happy to get paid doing what I love to do, and I got to work with some really cool actors. Yeah,
that's actually really funny.
I had my own trailer. It was awesome.
Yeah, don't expect that too.
Yeah, don't expect.
I know I have low expectations.
Yeah, okay.
Were you going to say something, Rich?
No, I was gonna say that it's just he said that he didn't have representation, so people listening might, if there's an agent.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's actually a couple agents I'm gonna reach out to that
I don't have representation either as a writer.
Oh, that's
crazy.
God,
I get my own jobs, and
know that.
In the show, there's a reference that Ray makes to his passion project, that he has this screenplay that he's trying to write. It's a gay brother, straight brother body swap movie, and it's meant to be as a joke. I do have that script, so if somebody wants to help me sell it, it's a really good script actually. It takes the whole body swap thing and it just turns it totally. It's totally different than a normal body swap movie.
Could it be played by twin, like a someone playing twins?
Ideal casting is Chris Evans and his brother Scott.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Anyway, dropped that.
Yeah, like that. Gedde and James, who or what influenced you on becoming actors?
Ooh.
Oh God.
James brings us back to Paul Lind.
What's that? Oh, Paul Lind. No, I always knew that I wanted to be an actor, but I never said anything about it or did anything about it until like I didn't even go to college, and I waited 4 years out of high school to go back to school. And it was only, I thought I was going to be an architect or a psychologist. And it was only because I had no electives in my curriculum that my counselor called me and just said, you need to do some other things. So I said, I'll take an acting class. And one thing led to another. And towards the very end of school, I dropped out. And my dad was so happy that I left school without graduating to be an actor. But I will say he became one of my biggest fans. But I will say something, this is going to be so gay, that even in high school, that I was waiting to be picked up by a bunch of friends to, go out drinking. That's what you do in high school back then. And my mom was watching a Barbra Streisand movie. And there was Barbra Streisand doing, I guess it was Mame. Was it Mame? It wasn't Mame. Well, see, I guess now I got to give up my card. I forget what movie it was, but she was walking down the street singing a song, and I just thought, that's what I want to do. No, it wasn't Funny Girl.
It wasn't Funny Girl?
It was the other one. I can't remember what it was now.
Oh,
anyway.
On a Clear Day.
No, it was actually Hello, Dolly.
Oh.
Hello, Dolly.
Oh,
Wow,
that's the obvious
took
one.
You, how old are you?
So there you go. I guess I could have left that out. I could have just said I was always so enamored by the theater.
By the theater.
You were singing as the parade goes by. Is that what you were doing?
That's what it was. Is that from Hello, Dolly?
Yeah. Before the parade
passes by.
I've never seen it.
That was the first show I ever saw.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Well,
and for
I got
you,
in the
Gedde?
car with my friends, and I said, that's what I want to do.
Oh. Wow.
That's amazing.
What was your
Took a while.
kickoff to acting?
My kickoff to acting. Well, my mom was a seamstress in Utah, in Ogden, Utah. So she sewed costumes, and she was really brilliant at it. And so there was a production of The King and I when I was a little kid. I was like 6 years old, that the college was doing, and my mom sewed my sisters and both of our costumes. So that kind of was my first. And then I really loved the people in the theater. And then I think the thing that really put me, that I kind of felt like I thought this was it. It was actually was Sidney Poitier, Lilies of the Field, because my mom and I watched that, and I just remember how that kind of just kind of hit me in such a strong way. And here was a African American man having this kind of a role, and I just remember that stayed with me to this day. I thought, wow, this man is different. And he's just fitting in somehow into the scheme of things. So, and then, my mom kept sewing costumes. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I take Gedde's story? I like Gedde's story better than mine.
What? What's my story? Oh, what? No, you can't. No.
He wants to use your story.
Oh, you want to use my story? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you?
I like that better.
So if you see an interview with James and it sounds familiar, you know where he got it from.
Blatant plagiarism.
Totally. Gentlemen, it is so great to talk to you. Everybody, please go to this link. The link is up on YouTube as well to donate. Before I let the gentleman go, what was it like to do this, gentlemen?
You know,
wow.
we just like we're hanging out, having a little coffee.
Yeah, is that your usual Sunday attire?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, yeah, exactly. We just
James and I didn't we do a picture like that?
I think they photoshopped it.
That is a photo from Crotch Magazine, and the photos are amazing, gentlemen. They're great pictures.
thank you.
It's
It was
definitely something out of our comfort zone, but we wanted to
yeah.
do
Well,
something different.
I didn't feel
It
uncomfortable.
looks kind of comfortable to me.
I don't think it was normal for us, but it was like, yeah,
Just
something-
saying.
Yeah. Thomas, the director of the shoot, was really great, and the photographer. It was just a neat collaboration.
Stephanie. Yeah.
Stephanie,
So it was fun.
Pisces dreams.
Well, I'm sure there's more to come with season 2. Here, I'm going to count us down. We'll all take a picture and smile pretty. Ready, everybody? 1, 2, and there we go. Thank you, gentlemen. Best of luck with season 2.
Thank you, Alan. Really appreciate it.
Yes.
You're so welcome, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Thanks.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Pleasure to meet you all, James and Gedde.
Likewise.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today. Don't forget to donate if you can. Any amount helps get season 2 made. Thank you to Rich, James, Trevor, and Gedde. All 11 episodes are up on YouTube. Search The Disappointments and watch. Make sure you sign in to get those 2 extra episodes. I think 5 and episode 10. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. Turn on notifications so that you never miss an episode. And please join me tonight when Andy Kosferent, the assistant coach of Navarro College cheer team, joins me live. Have a great evening, everybody, and I will see you this evening.